Hello, ladies. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you get a chance to watch this. Um, Dev and I are super excited about today's topic, which is manifestation. Um, and it's so crazy how this came to me. It was actually, I was just telling Devin before we jumped on here, during or after my meditation, one of my meditations in the morning last week. And usually I'll just like scroll through and do a guided meditation and just look for whatever jumps out first. And the one that jumped out to me was something like um, meditations on like manifesting now. And I was telling Devin, I remember when I used to think that was like BS. Like you can't just manifest something now. Like how does that even happen? And I remember just thinking like people that talked about that were crazy. And here I am now being one of those crazy people, because we can manifest whatever we want in a moment. We want to be happy. How do we do that? We choose to shift and we choose happiness over whatever feeling we're feeling. So I thought it would be a really fun topic just to touch on. Whatever comes out, we're just going to follow our intuition as usual. And yeah, I'm really excited just to see Dev's take on it and hopefully have you guys share maybe your experience or kind of your thoughts around it. So, Dev, what are, maybe I'll ask you this, this might be good. What are your thoughts? Like, what were your thoughts in the past, like mine, where I was like, this is bogus, that can't happen? Like, did you ever have that experience where you felt that way too, where you thought it was just like complete crap?
I didn't even think about it
Ooh,
at all.
all
So
right.
I lived in my own little bubble and I just didn't think about that I could create what I wanted in life or create my own world at all. I think I was very like sheltered and incredibly naive until I hit about 34 or 35. and So yeah, it sounds hilarious, but like my eyes really opened up after I went through my separation and my divorce, and it really changed my whole world. So then I kind of ended up feeling like a toddler standing at the base of a mountain of all this growth that I had to do, looking up at it and just like being very wide-eyed and and in wonder, like holy crap, there's this whole huge world out there of like creating and manifesting and all this. So yeah, I just didn't think about it. I never thought about it. I thought that everybody thought exactly the same way. Like literally that's how naive and ignorant I
That
was.
is actually really amazing because look at where you are now and how much you've grown in like 4 years. That's
Yeah.
just crazy. But I
Yeah.
love that you're like that's your take on it, and I love because everybody's so different.
Mm.
And I remember thinking like I used to do that. Like I was like, oh, okay, let's just like try this out. So I'd find like a 10-minute one, and I would just like whatever this is, I'm gonna do it, and I would like breathe, and I would listen to it, and then I would just like wait. And I was like, okay, like there's no magic happening. Like I really didn't understand what like the concept of like manifesting actually was, and that yeah, we are the creators of this life that we live, and we choose where we want to go and what our thoughts are and where we put our energy. And I just think
Hmm.
that that is incredible.
Yeah. Well, like a good example, like, and I think that I do believe that, you know, when you, I'm sure like you get to a certain level of having manifested for many, many years that you can just get it like this in a split
Mm-hmm.
second. But I think, you know, we are always talking about like having grace for ourselves. And because we are learning and we are growing and forever changing. And an example of that was, so like this last year, um I was like really focusing on like money and like
Mm-hmm.
manifesting that and what that looked like. And I ended up finally after like 4 years being bought out by my ex. And so that money came in and it was a fairly large amount. And then in the same month I sold my house and made $43,000 after, when I bought it initially 3 years before that. I was told by like people, my brother, like the realtor and stuff, oh no, you're not going to make any money off this house. It's like, and I made $43,000 off of it.
That's amazing.
And then Leland sold his house and he made a large chunk of money off of his house. This all just like happened within like 6 months of each other. But before that, I had been like maybe even a year before that, I hadn't shifted my mindset, because everyone always wants, I feel like when it comes to manifesting, people always want to talk about money.
Yeah.
They're like, well, why have, if you can manifest that easily, why haven't you manifested $1 million? Like,
Yes.
right. And so I think that the thing is, though, there's actually lessons for you to learn. And if you listen to people who are speaking, all these, like Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, like all these people, they're like, it's not about the money. And like Chris Crone, when you go to his UFD events, he's like, this is not, the money is easy. It's changing this.
Yes.
This is what takes work, right? So my point is that it took me time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready for that money to come to me before it came to me last summer. I would have spent it in an entirely different way than I actually spent in how I invested in myself.
Yeah.
So I think that we need, so then that's where like the law of gestation comes into place, where it's like, hey, yes, the God, the universe, whatever is like, yes, I want to give you this, but this, and this has to happen first.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take as long as you want. Like this could be like that, or this can take years. Yeah. It's really up to you.
Yeah. And I totally feel like you're so right about those lessons being in there. And we have to be prepared and ready, like you said, about like the money that you got and how you would have spent it completely differently. And I feel like I'm sort of like that same similar way with the manifestation of money. Like I had a horrible story and mindset around money my whole entire life. And so when I started to make that shift, there was still a lot of work behind that had to come, and a lot of lessons that came with it. And my earnings so far this year that I have earned as a coach have been put into savings, because I'm using that money towards saving $10,000 this year so that I can take my kids to Disney next year. Like that is what I'm doing. Whereas before I was so fearful of money just disappearing that I would never get it back, that I would just hang on to it. And I would be so scared to put it, say, in a savings account where we couldn't get it back, because then what happens if we need it? And just the scarcity mindset. And there's so much growth around that. And I feel like that scarcity mindset is not just around money and that manifestation, but around just personal growth in our own life, in, what we're doing, scary things that we do, and just the lessons that we learn along the way. But really it's about, just being, I think it's just being open to shifting your mindset. And when you start shifting your mindset, then it's kind of, you realize like the power that you have within you to actually manifest the things that you want in your life.
Well, and I think it's like what I have going through my head right now that I think would be important for you to share is like how you set goals for yourself every month. You set goals for the amount of people that you are going to reach, and you set amount of money that you wanted to make, as well as at UFD when you were like, I'm bringing my husband home.
Yes. Okay. I love it.
So I think that part is that.
Okay. So I didn't even think about this, but my why for my coaching business is clearly my family, my kids, to create this life of freedom where we can spend endless amounts of time together. My husband works in the oil field for nearly 9 years. This summer would be 9 years. And the last, for sure, 6 months, my focus has been, I don't care how it happens, I am going to work hard, and Darren is going to come home from the oil field. And it's so crazy because I set hard goals starting in January that I was not going to miss. So in our coaching business, we have like a certain amount of people that we hit as a minimum. So our minimum is helping 3 people every single month getting started on their health and fitness. And so that started that is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to miss this. I'm going to help these people. My team is going to start growing. I'm going to have a paycheck every single Thursday. And I really got intentional about these goals and these things that I had set. And I told Devin when we went to UFD, this is what I'm going to do. Like, things, I'm ready for things to be different. I'm terrified. I'm completely uncomfortable, but this is what I want, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. Um, it is now the middle of May. I have not missed one of those goals in helping people. I don't, it's so crazy because I actually had a conversation with my coach last month, and I was like, I don't know where these people are going to come from, but I just trust that they're going to come. And that is the beautiful thing about it, is just trusting. And you know what? I would have never at the beginning of the month sat there and said, okay, well, I think it's probably going to be like these people. I had no idea, but I still hit those goals. Darren was actually let go from his job as a result of COVID-19, and he's home now. So that means I have like a few spells. I get to work even harder to keep him home. And so we have all of these shifts and all of these things. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I seen it happening and I knew he was going to be home. And I'm hitting these goals and my team is growing. And it's just amazing, that shift, the intentional, I am going to do these things and this is what's going to happen. You guys, we get paid every single Thursday in Beachbody. I have not missed a paycheck since the beginning of January, which is amazing. And these are the things that I said was, and I believed it with my whole heart. For the rest of this year, I'm not going to miss a Thursday. My $10,000 goal that I have, I'm going to hit it. Without a shadow of a doubt, I know that I will. And I think the important thing to know about when it comes to manifesting is that you are so crystal clear on your vision and you believe that you're going to do it and that these things are going to come. The money that Darren did not work for 8 weeks. We have not had money in our account. I'm not going to tell you how because I have no idea. But we've had this continual flow between my coaching and all of these things. We're not stressed out. We're not worried about it because I believe that if I continue to intentionally set these goals, I'm on a tangent now, Dev. If I continue to set these goals and to have this belief in myself, we have nothing to worry about. And I think there's power in setting intentions and believing that God, the universe, whoever it is going to provide for you. And when you have that belief and now you start to see it, and I'm like, damn, like I'm going to keep going because what else is going to come, right? You start, and like Deb said, that manifestation can be that quick. But you have to believe it and you have to just keep on working and keep on trusting. And I think that is super important, is just having that belief.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think like I've read quite a bit, and I think that some people think like, well, they say, so should you live like you're a millionaire? And there's like, everybody has a different opinion on that. I think it really depends on where your mindset is at, because if you know that the money is always going to show up, and like, I don't want to blindly lead anybody. I think that people really need to figure that out for themselves and what feels right for them. But I know how I view money, and now, like, since my mindset has shifted, and I don't, like, thousands of dollars just doesn't feel like much to me anymore. Like, I hope that one day hundreds of thousands doesn't feel like much, because I think the way the way that God wants to provide for us, or the creator is there's constant abundance around us. Like, that's like one thing that you notice when you go on a hike or you're somewhere where you can really look out at the beauty in nature, is that there's never ending supply of abundance around you. Like, it's never lacking, unless a forest fire has gone through it. But guess what comes after a forest fire?
New growth.
New growth. And it's important. And there's certain seeds that have to be exposed to fire in order to actually grow and come out of their pot, like they're sprouting. I think it was like the white pine or something like that, that has to be hit by flame, right? So like, I think that whatever works best for you, you know. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you listen to your heart and you listen to your intuition, I would never encourage everyone to be like, oh yeah, spend like you're a millionaire and just like go buy the new car. Because if your mindset can't line up behind
Mm-hmm.
that, you will just go into debt, you know? So
Yeah.
um that's important to relay. And this is only like, this can be, we're just talking about money because like I said, money seems really easily relatable to everybody because everybody thinks that once they have it, they're going to be super happy, but it
Mm-hmm.
actually has nothing to do with that
Yeah. Oh,
because
absolutely. Yeah.
there's a lot of people that have a lot of money and they aren't happy.
Yeah.
So it's
Definitely.
yeah,
And I
but
think even manifesting people, for example, like
mm,
when I set that goal at the beginning of the year that I will help this many people every single month and I haven't missed a month, is because I believed one way or another those people would come into my life. And I just trusted the process. I didn't sit back and wait. And here's the other thing, you guys, you have to show up and do the work. You
mhm,
have to actually put in the time, that practice, the shifting the mindset. I didn't just sit back and kick my feet up and these people came to me. There was steps that I still had to do, and I still had to show up in my job, and I still had to show up in my belief in myself. And whatever that looks like for you, for me, it's affirmations, it's practicing gratitude, it's spending time in my mind palace, it's reading my vision, and making sure that I'm practicing that. And if you're not doing that, I don't know, maybe it works for some people where those things do just manifest. But I know for me, like there's work that has to be done. And so you still have to show up in that belief.
mhm.
Um, yeah.
Well, and like I just want to go back. I'm just like I have all these thoughts just constantly going into my head, but um like I think that there is some importance in um say acting like you already have something.
Mm-hmm.
Like in it doesn't mean like and when I use money as example, you know, as I said, it's easily relatable, but um it's like because there's people that could watch and not know who we are. But if we are talking like we are millionaires,
Mm-hmm.
they would not know. Like, and they're proving more and more now that, like, with neuroscience and stuff that you know we've been reading that we watch or like, there's lots of information out there, but that your brain doesn't know the difference between practice or imagination
Yes.
and real life. So, like, that was like one thing I was thinking about when I was driving home today is like how when you could feel something. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking about. I think I was thinking about going really fast or something like that. And my heart started going like pounding. And I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
even going fast, but my body reacted to what I was thinking about. And so I was thinking, I was like, it is literally that simple. If you can invest in emotion and make your body feel this is happening to me right now, your body doesn't know the difference. So there's been, I can't remember which book it was in, and maybe Tamara might remember, but it might have even been in this last one we were reading about, um, or maybe it was in Brendan Bouchard's High Performance Habits. I think that's the one it was in, where there's piano players.
Yeah, they talked about it in the book that we just read too.
Okay, yeah, I thought he had to, but
Yeah.
anyways, they asked one group to go and play piano and one group to pretend that they were playing piano, and they hooked them both up to the monitors, to the brain waves or whatever. I don't know. I'm not sciencey, so don't hold it against me. And and they read exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I think that's like we're starting to understand and realize that the brain doesn't get it. It doesn't go from um, like when you're practicing something and you're just thinking about it in your head and you have the feelings and you have the emotions, it is no different than from actually doing it.
Mm-hmm. And I
And
think
that sounds
that
crazy,
is,
doesn't it? I don't know,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's amazing and I love it.
I think that's amazing because it makes me think of like the time that we spend in our mind palace, reading
Yeah.
our vision, focusing on the dreams and the goals that we have for life, soaking in the things that we're grateful for now and today, and just being in that energy. And
Mm,
when we can picture, not even picture, but when we can feel those things that we're thinking about, that's exactly that same thing is our bodies don't know the difference. Our minds don't know the difference. So if you're living in gratitude constantly, you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about, what could go wrong, the what ifs. I mean, it does really sound magical, but it's amazing how good that feels. And just reading this last book that we're reading, I'm really recognizing and learning how amazing it is to practice being aware and to stay in that feeling that you have when you're in your mind palace, and you're in your creation room, and you're in your personal power room, how good that feels. And just to be aware and try and carry that and stay in it through the day. And that, I believe, is the process of manifestation. You're creating those things and making them happen by practicing them, just like the piano players practicing mentally playing the piano. They never touch those keys, but their brains didn't know the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, for anyone that hasn't actually started like looking into the neuroscience behind it, I'm sure like if you Googled it, there's probably so much stuff that would come up about it. It's just actually fascinating. And
Mm-hmm.
it helps, I think, when you come into a new place that maybe you've never heard about manifesting or co-creating your life or any of that. It really does help understand. You're like, oh, okay, so like you can kind of start correlating, because I think that even 20 or 30 years ago, this wasn't a thing. And
Mm-hmm.
that there maybe the research was there, but it wasn't as strongly there as it is now. And it wasn't as accessible because of the internet and such as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you're interested ever in like, yeah, Tamara and I could talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about
Yeah, we could.
anything and everything. It doesn't matter what it is. But yeah, reach out if you want to chat, or if you don't really understand, or Google it and see what you think,
Mm-hmm.
and then let us know.
Definitely. I think that is awesome. And yeah, like, let us know what your thoughts are. Like, maybe this, like Devin said, is something like brand new to you. I mean, we didn't have any idea what any of this was or what it meant or what it felt like. So, yeah, we love being able to discuss those kind of things. As you can
Mm-hmm.
tell, we love our little tangents that we get stuck
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Everyone has a good night, and love
Absolutely.
you all, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.